Today I'm with April, my co-lead of our Nursing Mother Support Group, to talk about how to identify a space that could be made into a dedicated nursing mother's room in your workplace if one doesn't already exist. And that's something that April and I have done on numerous occasions as our company has acquired new buildings, and by that I mean new to us buildings that are actually already existing buildings that have been around for decades and don't already have a space. So April, when you're working with the leadership or the facilities personnel to identify an appropriate space for a nursing mother's room, what do you look for?
So that's a really difficult question depending on the building. In our case, we have buildings that are 60 years old, some are 10 years old, and so the codes were different, some were grandfathered. So what we usually do is we work with the leadership or the facilities to do a walk around, and that's where we literally walk the entire building and open every door. And so we identify possibilities the first time, so that could be a lesser used conference room, a lesser used restroom that we could retrofit, closets, literally closets. Also, we have found that there are some utility rooms that were used for mops and buckets and things that we could retrofit as well. So we kind of walk around first and identify what we have in terms of the opportunities, and then we whittle that down as to what is realistic in terms of cost, space, time, the number of users that we expect to have, and then we work with our leadership and facilities to figure out what our budget is. Oftentimes we can identify spaces that are near restrooms, so to your point on a previous vlog, that we can have the users pop out of the nursing mother room and just go around the corner and use the restroom sinks to rinse their parts. Other times, for instance, if we are actually using the utility room, oftentimes they have a hookup for water there to fill their cleaning buckets. So we can actually retrofit that and turn that water line into a sink in the room.
Okay.
And so there are different ways of looking at things. I think that you have to have some creativity, some patience, and understanding. Oftentimes the users are expecting the beautiful, new, spacious room, but sometimes these older buildings, we have to live with what we've got. So we try our best to make sure that it is accessible and that we do have electricity. If possible, we have a sink, but we have to use some creativity. Sometimes we, quote, liberate small tables. For instance, the old typing tables from yesteryear, they tend to be narrow and short. And so those are usually on wheels as well. And so we just move those into the little space, and then we get a chair that fits. And as long as we have the private space, the lockable door, no windows, an electrical outlet, boom, we got it in a more.
Perfect. I know one thing that we've done a couple times is found a space inside a restroom that wasn't being used, like a shower that wasn't being used, or maybe a one of the old-time fainting rooms from the 60s that's no longer used, and made that into a nursing mother's room. And one thing that we've usually looked for in that case is to make sure there is some ventilation coming into that portion of the restroom before we put up a wall, because it does then have to be a full wall that we put up to make the room.
And we found that half walls don't usually work for two reasons. Number one, the smell, and to your point about ventilation, it needs its own ventilation, so it's not utilizing the ventilation where the actual toilet stalls are. And then number two is noise, because oftentimes if you have not had the experience of pumping while at work, you don't know what that noise sounds like. And so we have curious people who are entering the room or trying to get into the room or are yelling, "What's that noise?" And so having that full wall detracts those curious people and makes it more private for the user.
Yep. So if you have any questions about types of spaces that might be appropriate for turning into a nursing mother's room, please put them below. We'd be happy to answer your question. And also, one thing you said that reminded me, if you find that people, if it's like, say, an old meeting room that now becomes a nursing mother's room, and if people are still going in there, don't hesitate to be firm with them and let them know that it's now a nursing mother's room and not a place for taking phone calls or a place for a one-on-one meeting, because you will need that space.
Signage helps.
Mhm.
And then just one thing also, we actually have a site, womenshealth.gov, and we can probably put that link online, and
Sure.
that actually gives examples of different types of nursing mother rooms in different industries.
Oh, fantastic. All right, we'll definitely put that link in the comments below. Thanks.